Hello, 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 Facebook Live family. Elevate Facebook Live, episode 93, 17 trillion. That's our topic today. I love this topic. I hope you guys are excited as I am over this. Um, anyway, how you doing, Shar?
Great.
What we're discussing today is what is a trillion? What is your spending philosophy? Is there such a thing as good debt? And the 4 reasons we are not financially independent. Now, those that are, high five, but most of us are not. So those are the things we'll be covering today. And then the last thing we'll be discussing is the 5 jars. So what is a trillion? What is your spending philosophy? Is there such a thing as good debt? The 4 reasons we are not financially independent yet, and the 5 jars. So very excited about today. I hope you guys are excited. Appreciate you guys coming on. It is 7:01, and we're going to do our housekeeping. I'm Curtis Carr. I'm the founder of Elevate. My wife, one day I'm just going to turn the camera over there. She rolled her eyes because, she's not always, she look good. She got her hair done and it's combed and everything. But it ain't always like that over there. So, but bottom line is she had to go into the office today. Most of the time she works from home. So she's ready to go over there. And I've been in leadership. I've been in leadership for over 30 years. Char's been a business analyst for over 10, project manager for over 10. And she also has her own business selling cupcakes, which is Cupcake and a Smile, which she used to push on here. I guess she's getting tired. Hey, Tamika, it's good to see you. Mom and Dad, it's good to see you. So bottom line is Elevate is an acronym: expectations, leadership, ethics, vision, attitude, temperaments, and effectiveness. That is the formal leadership training program. Of course, there are a lot of different seminars, and you get many snippets here on Facebook Live. And how you doing? Good to see you from Aggie Land. Right now, it's football season. I am super hyped up. I don't watch much football anymore, but I do keep up with the box score. So when I see the Aggies, that's what I think about, especially since I am a Longhorn fan. Which side is it? That side, the Longhorn fan. So anyway, good to see you, Ann. Anybody else out there with us? I see some numbers, but I do not see a lot of people chiming in. Please chime in so we can say hello to you. So I want to do a couple shout outs. And the first one, I'm going to do a shout out to Kai. So Kai, actually, hey, Mother Brenda, good to see you. So actually, Shar gets this email, and it says, "Good morning, Miss Sharndale. Hope all is well with you and the family. This is Miss Bradshaw, Kai's 6th grade teacher." Now, mind you, Kai is getting ready to go into 8th, all right? "I have a huge assignment, and I'll be presenting, and I would love if I can have your permission to feature Kai. If the answer is yes, please send me a photo and a brief summary of current accomplishments and activities." I laughed at that because she has a reel already ready. She don't even realize that Shar has like reels that she makes like as soon as Kai gets a trophy or anything. It's like automatic reel. She sent her email. She said, "I would have truly appreciate it. And I'll be presenting this on Tuesday at the Wharton County Junior College. All the best." So whenever somebody reaches out to you and ask for permission to give props to somebody, that is awesome, right? So Kai's doing a great thing. And the funny thing, Stephanie, it's good to see you. The funny thing is the relationship started off kind of bumpy because when he first met her, I want to say the first few days, I might get this story wrong, but the first few days, there was a bully in the class, and Kai addressed the bully. And the teacher was like, what did she say? What does the teacher say?
You need to stay in your lane.
You need to stay in your lane, Kai. I'm going to tell your mother. I remember that part. I'm going to tell your mother. And Kai said, "You need to tell that bully's mother." Now, I'm not saying that he should have said that, but it kind of gives you that kind of idea how Kai is. Sometimes he wears his emotion on him, and he doesn't like to see people bullied. So anyway, that's how it started off. She calls Shar, says, "Hey, this little kid is not going to be running my class," and all that kind of stuff. Next thing you know, here we are. The relationship got better and better to the point where 2 years later, 1 year later, she wants to feature Kai in something she's doing at the junior college out here in Wharton County. So shout out to Kai. all that to say shout out to Kai. The other person or the other thing I want to shout out to is something that, as I love ice cream, and this is actually chocolate ice cream day. Did you know that? It is chocolate ice cream day. I don't think they have an official butter pecan day. That's my favorite. Butter pecan, Bluebell, and Baskin Robbins. Those are my two. Butter pecan. I love butter pecan. So for those that like ice cream, happy chocolate ice cream day. So those are the things I want to give a shout out to. And then we got the jokes before we get started. I know we got 7:06. We got to keep it rolling. 7:06. I'm debating taking one of these jokes out, but I'll start off with the next one. And these are kind of like riddles, so kind of get your thinking cap on.
Ask if anyone's having audio issues, because Stephanie says she's
Is anybody having audio issues? Anybody? Put a 1 for yes if you're having. Hey, Alex, good to see you. Good to see you, Alex. If you have any audio issues, let us know. If you can't hear us, please let us know. It's always good to see Alex. Alex is somebody that I grew up with. So we go way back, and we always say, it's funny how life is. We always say when we go to Austin, we ain't hooked up with him yet. It's been years and years. And the funny thing is that Alex actually knows my wife. They went to the same school. So anyway, it's a small world, but you guys know that. So anyway, I wanted to get to these jokes, and the first joke is, and it's more like a riddle. It's more like a riddle. What has a neck but no head? What has a neck and no head? I'm expecting Ann, Karen to get this right. No pressure though. Shar, what has a neck and no head? A bottle. I know it's a riddle, but it's still funny to me. All right. This one I love. David's father has 3 sons. Snap, crackle, and put on the comments what you think the third son's name. David's father has 3 sons. Snap, crackle, and don't you say anything, Shar. Shar probably put the whole thing down. Tamika said pop. That's a good one. That's a good one. David's father has 3 sons. Snap, crackle, and my dad said pop. We got a couple pops. A turtle has a head but no neck. A turtle does have a neck. What kind of turtles you been around? So the key is David's father. So it's Snap, Crackle, and David. So anyway, that was a good one. We got you. It's always fun to know the answer when the other people don't. All right. And the last one is, what goes up and never goes down? What goes up and never goes down? Shar? I always got to watch Shar because she could be peeking around while I'm putting these together. What goes up? Mother Brenda said, really? What goes up and never goes down? Age. Age. Air, not really. Air kind of goes around. But anyway, age always goes up and it never goes down. So anyway, those are the little riddles. I hope you liked them. I liked them. But today, and I've been super excited about this for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'm going to tell you why I'm excited. Because this is a major area of weakness for me. And it always has been. So I struggle with it. And I have a philosophy that I've been going by. And I believed in for years. Then I get away from it. Then I get back into it. And now I'm deep in it. I want to die with this philosophy at this point. I believe in this philosophy. And I understand everybody won't. So I just wanted to, this is what I'm excited about. And which is the 17 trillion. So the 17 trillion, what we're talking about is how $17 trillion in debt, household debt we are as a country. 17 trillion, which is a record. Now, this is, of course, at the end of the first quarter of the year. $17 trillion in household debt in America. Huge, huge number. And I want to talk about what is a trillion. A trillion is a lot. And a trillion is 1,000 billions. A trillion is a 1 followed by 12 zeros. But the one that I really love because it absolutely captures the impact and the breadth of what a trillion is that if you were to count to a trillion at a rate of 1 second per number, which you think about it, that's impossible because once you get to 100,000, 199, it's going to take more than 1 second to say it. But if you could say it in 1 second, it would take you 31,710 years to count to a trillion. A trillion is a lot. So that's what I want us to understand. That is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous amount. So why are we talking about this? And it's because as we eclipsed as a nation the 1,700 trillion. And I wanted to get from you guys, what is your debt philosophy? I wanted to hear from you guys. And I'm going to throw some stuff out there. I always ask my guys, how do they spend money? Are you that guy that's 100 plus? That means you spend everything you make and you got credit, so you're 100 plus, or are you a person that says, you know what, I'm putting 10% away and I'm going to put it away for that rainy day and I'm going to spend 90, or are you a 80-20, 70-30? What is your debt philosophy? Or you're like, I don't go by none of that. I just whatever my check is, I take half of it and I put it away. Whatever it is, I would love to hear the ones that feel like sharing what your debt philosophy is. What is your spending or debt philosophy? And we'll wait a few minutes. But think about that. A trillion, it would take you 31,710 years to count to a trillion. And that's if you can say it at 1 second a number. Also, I want to give myself props because I beat Shar in spades 2 games in a row last night. Just throw that in there right now, just while we're waiting for people. I'm just doing this because we have a little time. I was just trying to fill the time. But beat her in spades. Pretty bad the first game. It was terrible. I felt a little sorry for her. And then the second game, she started feeling pretty good about herself. She started winning a little bit. And then, boom, I put the hammer down right then. And she lost again. So, but anyway, while you guys are filling in, what is your debt philosophy? Or maybe you don't have one. If you don't have one, that's fine. You don't have to have a debt philosophy. I think you should. But if you don't, no problem. We'll keep on moving. So, what are we going into debt for? So what we're going into debt for, when you look at it, it has actually changed in the last few years. I wanted to ask this question, but since I didn't get a lot of activity on the last one, my wife always says, you should ask these questions so that people, and I'm like, you don't understand. I ask the question and it's quiet. And it's like the worst place to be when you're looking at yourself. But anyway, number one was home mortgage. Makes sense, right? My dad said 80-20. Number one is home mortgage. Number two used to be auto loans, but that's not number two anymore. And I can't remember how far back, but I just remember reading books back in the day. It was home mortgage and then auto loans. And you mean we're supposed to have a debt philosophy? Whatever, Ann. So it used to be auto loans, but what jumped over it just by a little bit is school loans. So it goes mortgages. Oh, my son is on Joseph Thomas. Well, I got 3 sons and the middle one's on. He got 70-30 down. Thanks for chiming in. So it's home mortgages, student loans, auto loans, and then number 4 is credit card debt. So number 1 is mortgages. Number 2, and out of that 17 trillion, out of that 17 trillion, 12 trillion is mortgages. Number 2 is student loans at 1.6 trillion. Auto loans at 1.56 trillion. Credit card debt at 990 billion. And then they say other. I'm like, what's other? Is it what is other? At 0.51 trillion, we're 510 billion. But the one that's number 6, that to me is just like, it just shows our mentality. Hey, Miss Barbara, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. The one that's number 6 is home equity loans. So we're getting lines of credit on our equity, and that is 340 billion as a nation. That is huge. That is huge. So this is kind of rolls into my next question, and I hope like me and Shar, we have different beliefs. I love her to death, but we have different beliefs here. She looks at me like I'm crazy. We have different beliefs here. And it's okay, right? Everybody.
What are you talking about?
So is there a such thing as good debt? I asked that question, and I hope I get some responses. Is there such thing? Do you believe that there's a such thing as good debt? Mm-hmm. So Shar believes there's a such thing as good debt. My question is, do you guys believe if there is a such thing as good debt? Good debt. I'm going to wait a couple minutes. Alex says yes. Alex says yes. Shar says yes. We got 2 yeses. Joseph said yeah. Now, since we're moving a little bit, me personally, I'm gonna. I'm sorry, my wife said I should give an example. I was getting ready to read it, but anyway, it's right here. It's right here, right? So anyway, good debt, generally speaking, is considered any debt that may help you increase your net worth or generate future income. That's what my dad kind of danced around it. He said some debt is better than others. So I personally don't believe that there's any good debt. I'm that guy. Now, have I always believed that way? No. But Curtis Carr Jr. at 51, going on 52 years old, don't believe there's any good debt. Even if you were to, I don't know if you guys have done this before, but even if you look at your mortgage and then you multiply it out, let's say you go to 30 years, man, it's like 5 times what you paid for the home. I don't believe that there's any good debt. Now, if the term means, let's say they'll say, sometimes they'll give a percentage. They'll say anything with a 5% interest rate or less, they will say, some people will say it's called good debt. So do you want to do a payday loan? That's a hell no. That is bad debt with an underline in bold letters. Or rent furniture, where you pay for that couch $30 a week for the next 300 years. That's not good debt. But some people believe there is a such thing as good debt. Now, I wanted to go over, what is it, 717? I've been going too fast. What I wanted to go over was 4 reasons why we are not financially independent yet. And if there was a part 2, it would be next week, where we talk about what do you call it? God, I can't think of the word. Gratification. Delayed gratification. That's not the way I want to say it, though. What is it called? Is it delayed gratification? Somebody help me out.
Yeah, I agree with Ann.
I think home mortgage is good debt. If you pay off the mortgage, then you're sitting on an asset that you can realize until you sell it. My wife agrees with you there.
I also agree that student loans can be a good debt.
Shar says she believes that student loans can be a good debt. Now, I was sitting in one of my stores one time, and I remember talking to this gentleman, and I will share this story. It's kind of funny. Anyway, he talked about how he went to college and he got his education, and he told his dad what he wanted to do. Hey, Denise, good to see you. Good to see you. So he told his dad what he wanted to do, and his dad said, "Hey, go to college. Hey, that's a great thing. I'm going to support you 100%, but I'm not paying for anything." So the kid was kind of shocked, but he found ways. He found grants. He found money. He worked. He ended up paying. And you got to remember, he's a kid then. He's my age now when I was talking to him, and he paid off everything in 4 years. Now, because he was raised like that, he did the same thing with his son. Now, his son, of course, is about the age of my boys. So his son did the same thing, but he did it in 3 years and paid all his debt off. He went to a junior college. He found money. He worked. He found ways to pay it off. So just putting that out there. Now, the 4 reasons why we are not financially independent yet, for those that are, hey, awesome. One is that we just don't have a plan. Most of us just don't have a plan. That's all, right? We just don't have a plan. We talked about it last week. Where is it? Where is the plan, right? So we don't have a spending plan. Most of the time, our spending plan is just to spend until we don't have any more, and then to get some credit. And then I have people that I talk to that use it. They brag about, hey, I got a credit card. I don't touch it. It's just for emergencies, you know. And I'm like, wow, you know. And I said, I used to think like that too, but there's just no plan. And then studies show, I wish I had the numbers. I look for this, but studies show every 3 to 5 years, you're going to have like a $5,000 to $7,000 emergency. It's coming. So I guess it's good if you have that card, or you can just save money and then you'll be in a position where you can take that hit. But there's going to be an emergency that comes up. So, but what I wanted to really highlight here is, and I know this is, this could be a little dicey what I'm going to say. I don't think it's dicey, but I might hit some sensitive areas here. But basically, I love looking at the Jews. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, they had this going for them and they had that going for them, or maybe they this and that and this. I believe the reason why they're where they are is because they have a plan. And they have this thing called the 5 jars. They have this thing called the 5 jars where they teach their kids. It's a tradition, and they teach their kids as their kids are coming up. And it helps their kids view money a certain kind of way. They're big on teaching. And then even if you look at the Jews from a religious standpoint, they have received more schooling than any other religion out there. They're big on teaching. And I believe that's the number one reason why you see such a small ethnic group. I want to say there are 0.2% of the population of the world, but you'll see billionaires all up through the top 50 that are Jews, because they have a plan and they teach about money. So they have these 5 jars, and the jars is not really the focus of this, but they have these 5 jars. It's the percentages that they put in these 5 jars. That's the focus. So the first jar is tithe. They believe in tithing. So they do 10%, and they put the money in the jar. So if it's $10, they'll put $1 in the tithing. The next jar is an offering. They say, okay, we believe in 10% offering. They put $1 in that jar. The next jar is savings. So, okay, they put another $1 of that 10 in the savings jar. And then the next jar is investments, and they believe in putting 20% in investment. So here you are, you got 10% tithe, you got 10% offering, you got 10% savings, and you got 20% investment. So this is what they teach. So now when that kid gets money in his hand, he don't get money in his hand without any education. He gets money in his hand. He realizes that, okay, I got this amount of money and 10% goes here because we believe in this. This is our God. We're going to do something as an offering too, because we believe the 10% is just what we do as a people. We believe that's not giving God anything. That's their belief. And then they give an offering, and then they say, you know what, we believe in saving 10%. Then they said, but we're going to save 20% of investing, and that leaves 50% for spending. I think that is awesome. That's where I want to be. That's my whole goal. So I want to be there. Now I want to alter mine because I'm behind, right? I'm going to alter mine a little bit. And I believe I can get I can squeeze another 10% and get 30% investing. But they have a plan. Can you imagine if I just think about me? I look back at all the money that came in, and if I would have executed that plan, and let's just say I'm the average guy. The average guy is going to make what, $1.5 million in their lifetime. If I just would have took 20% of that money and used it for investing, that's a ton of money. And I wasn't coming with these financial calculators. I didn't want to bore everybody. But man, 20% of that money. And then they have this thing called the Rule 72, right? The Rule 72. Anybody familiar with the Rule 72? Please put a 1 down if you're familiar with the Rule 72. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. So I hope I didn't put everybody to sleep, because I should have thought about this. Everybody don't get excited about money. But there's a Rule 72. So Rule 72 says whatever interest you're getting off that money, divide that into 72, and that's how many years it's going to take for it to double. So when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, man, just think about it. So the Rule 72 is just basically saying whatever interest rate you're getting, let's say you're getting 6, you take 6 into 72, which is 12. Every 12 years, your money is going to double. So when you think about that, here I am at 51, man, just think about it. I don't believe they are where they are for all the reasons other people believe they are where they are. I believe they are where they are because they had a plan, right? And with that plan, they've done great things. So the number two reason why we are not financially independent yet, we spend more than we earn. This is not this is not real deep. We just spend too much, right? I know the majority of my life I spent more than I earned, right? I remember talking to my aunt, and she's gonna let me make sure. I can't see who's here. I don't remember saying hi to her. But I remember talking to my aunt Stephanie, and I was struggling financially, and I bought a car, and I bought a car, and the car was $600. No, it was $1,200, and I was paying some child support. I lost a custody battle for my kids, so I was paying money on top of the child support, and I was struggling. What Char calls a struggle bus. I was on a struggle bus. So then I told my aunt, I said, man, I'm not going to ever get myself, I'm never going to get another car loan and all that stuff. And when I took the car, and at the time, I think this is before I got my little place. I was staying with my uncle and aunt. That's how hard it was at the time. I was struggling. So I'm staying with them. I bring the car to the house, and I remember I paid $1,200 for it. So then my uncle looks at it and says, oh man, that's a nice car. You know, you look like you paid about $600 too much, but it's a nice car. That's what I remember he told me that. He said, but at the end of the day, I told myself I'm not gonna get anything. Man, 5 years later, I gave the car to one of my sons, and I went and got into debt. Bought a car that I shouldn't have bought. And then if that wasn't good enough, then before that car was paid off, I went and bought another car, you know, a truck. So now I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that anymore. So we spend more than we earn. Number three reason why we're not financially independent yet. We don't really have a savings account. We say we do, but every time we look at our checking account, a lot of times we'll just slide some money over if the checking account is low. So we really don't really have a savings account. The last reason, and this is a big one because we talked about the 17 trillion. The last reason why we are not financially independent yet is that we're just trapped in debt. We're trapped in debt. And I remember when I bought this game called Cash Flow. Alex said, not the truck. I bought this game called Cash Flow. And Cash Flow was actually a game to teach you about finances. 600 too much. What's 600 too much? Joseph says 600 too much.
What?
Oh, he's laughing at my black car. Yeah. So, but the game Cash Flow was tied to this book, and the guy was really wanted to come out with the game, and the book was supposed to highlight the game, but the book blew up, and the book was called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And the book blows up, national bestseller. The guy's all over the place. Richie Rich off this book. I buy the game. It's an educational game. I want to say it's supposed to be like $220, but I got it for $80. And I can never find anybody to play with me, you know. And about 3 years after having the game, I opened it up, and there's a CD in it. And I played the CD. And one of the first things he says is, if you can't find anybody to play with you, you need to change your friends. I'll never forget that. Have I said that on here before? I feel like I have. So anyway, but that's so true, right? So at the end of the day, we're surrounded by these people that are the same as us, and we think is normal, right? And there's some quotes I wanted to read. It's 7:29, and there's some quotes I wanted to read about debt that I skipped over. So man, I hope I didn't. I think I skipped over it, and I wanted to read these before. This is a good one, y'all. If you think nobody cares if you're living or not, try missing a couple car payments. Number 2, this would be a much better world if more married couples were as deeply in love as they are in debt. And number 3, I don't know. I don't know what kind of response are you giving me right now? Some people are just stuck in their ways and have been brainwashed into believing that credit card and debt are an unavoidable part of life. 3 quotes I thought were very interesting. So Mother Brenda's saying, ha ha, Joseph has some laughs. I know it's 7:30, 17 trillion in debt as a nation. So hopefully you got something out of it. Man, I wish I would love to do this in a seminar setting. Man, it's just a lot, especially when you think about the 5 jars and the direction they give their kids. Awesome. Tamika said great quotes. Really appreciate your time, guys. I hope that you guys got something out of it. Thank you, Ann. It is 7:31. Hopefully we see you next week. We're going to be doing one on intimacy. And I love this. And I will say this one thing before we get off of here. One of my motivations is that I love this is because I want to thank you, Alex. One of my motivations is there's a guy a long time ago that started the Lutheran Church. Well, did he start it? Well, it's named after him. I don't know all the details. Martin Luther. He struggled with grace, and the head monk helped him to understand and grow by teaching grace. So for me, it's a learning experience. Doing this every week and preparing, it's great for me. It helps me keep things in perspective and keep things in focus. It's never from the perspective of I got everything together. It's never from that perspective. Plus, you guys are older. Most of you guys know ain't nobody like that. So if anybody's like that and they're putting themselves out there like that, just know they're not like that. But it's such a helpful thing to be able to prepare and then just keep yourself focused and keep connected to your beliefs and to stay in that realm, because that's how you get delivered from things. That's how you get delivered from certain mindsets. So I just never want people to ever think that we get on here like intimacy. I struggle with intimacy. Don't think just because I'm talking about it, I got it all together. So intimacy, we're going to use something from Jay Shetty. I don't know if anybody heard of Jay Shetty, but we're going to use some stuff from Jay Shetty. He's remarkable. He's a remarkable speaker, remarkable teacher. So it's coming up, though. Not next week, but it's coming up. 7:32. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for letting me be long-winded. Appreciate it, Mother Barbara. And you remember what we say, be intentional, focus on growth, and elevate now. Thank you guys for coming on. Really appreciate it.